Hey, what's going on? This is Kevin. I want to elaborate on a specific topic that I think that a lot of people would agree, knowing that this is a reality that everyone in somewhat way faces. If you look at inequality, I'm going to say that it is a much broader and it's a much bigger equation than even the very basics, the stuff that's clear cut, such as discrimination, police brutality, could be the justice system that, deliberately unfavors a certain demographic of people because, you have people in power that are very rich, very wealthy, that favor certain participants of individuals and that sort of thing, right? But if you take a look at the fact that just an everyday regular person working 9 to 5, trying to make an average living is almost impossible to where you could actually have a comfortable life in itself. The fact that, you think of $15 an hour, what it could actually do to young people's lives that are working and that may not have the social skills or technical skills to work in a high advanced, type of trade job position, right? And people need to survive. Think about it. If you're going to college and you have to worry about paying off student debts, you still got to support yourself, feed yourself. You got to pay your phone bill every month. You may have other expenses that you have to pay every month. And people will argue saying that the minimum wage raise would actually destroy businesses and that it would hurt or collapse the economy in some way because all the food that the cooks or that the owners of restaurants, etc., food establishments would have to raise the prices for customers to pay. But I also think that even if you have to raise, money and customers have to pay more, I still think that it's a way that it would help, the workers, the people that are looking to build their revenue, and they'll have a better way of supporting themselves because how many career jobs are actually out there for an X amount of people? I mean, a career is almost like a rarity in itself, right? So there's inequality in the job market. There's inequality even in education because the fact that education is so expensive, it almost puts you in a certain, it almost forces you to where you have to be in a certain class of individuals to where you could actually be given the opportunity for an education easily. It's like if you're poor, if you're at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to social status, it's almost where education is something of a luxury that you almost have to literally afford. And this is why you have levels of poverty the way that they are. The fact that opportunity is scarce is because basic resources are almost uncertain. And I think the way that the system itself is set up is to only keep a few at the very top, where they're easily are able to gain, certain amount of status, success, expertise, and also who they socially interact with, the right connections, the right people that they easily are able to just come across and network. And I'm going to say the reason why that this is simply because they don't want everybody in the whole entire, let's say, United States to have access to good education, access to being able to build a portfolio, have a successful career, because they need people to be poor in this country for a reason. They have to have, you know, a certain, contingency of masses of people to be broke and impoverished because the 1% actually make their profits off the poor. They need laborers. They need people to submit to doing labor type of work, busting and browing. They have to put people to where they're like so-called the workers of society, and that's how certain structures are built in this country: bridges, blue labor, blue collar workers, and that sort of thing. And this is why they don't want everyone to be very well educated. It's like it's purposely designed to where it almost kind of makes sense to where not everybody can just be chosen, or even if they put all of their focus and emphasis on trying to get proper education, uh, trying to study to be something that is prestige, it's deliberately almost not qualified for them to where it's not in their favor. It's the 1% set it up that way to keep you where you're just a laborer or just somebody at the bottom, just scrounging to get by, even because not everybody is meant to be successful. This is how the system, equates it, and this is what I call one of the big essential inequalities. That it's just something that is apparent that we are all capable of striving. We are all, we have the capability of expanding and doing better for ourselves, but it's only a matter of our own perseverance. But the system itself embodies us into these economic depravities because they force us to what jobs or what level of education that they want for us, even if we try to succeed. They put us in the worst neighborhoods. They make all of these neighborhoods that you see wherever you go, no matter what neighborhood or what state, where you see there's homelessness, depravity, where there's deprivation, poverty, crime. The reason why you have so many low income areas or households or where there's people that are wanderers and crime and homelessness, etc., is because they set it up to be that way. And it's not solely the people's fault as a whole because they have so many forces out there as far as in the legal system to make it where it's almost impossible, almost virtually to where you're actually stuck and you can't get out of a situation of economic downturn. And education is so scarce that people just resort to living the lives that they're living, scrounging, committing certain types of acts, which is, unfortunate. And this is how society is stemmed in a nutshell in this country. And I think that inequality is very vast. And I think if you talk about real economic change, right? If you're talking about doing something that's going to actually better, people, individuals, then you should start by making what is a natural given right, like education. If you can't make it where education is free, then make it where everybody in this whole country has the equal access to education, no matter where their backgrounds are from, where it's affordable, where it's obtainable, where anybody will have access to education. Period. Um, they need to, what do you call it? They should also make it more accessible for everybody to have healthier options of food where it's not overly expensive, to where people that have a lower income source of money are not able to, or where they're not able to afford healthy options of food. And I think that that's another reason where, the masses are weeded out. And I look at it to where that, such as food and education, um, shelter, a roof over someone's head, all of those things should be obtainable easily. It should be accessible, and it shouldn't have to be, to the point where it's like you're paying almost an arm and a leg in this society just to have those basic necessities. And this is another part of inequality where it stems from. So at the end of the day, it's just the facts. So I'm just stating it just as it is, that this the only way that people could actually escape from all of the injustices that I have just kind of elaborated is that you have to form together as a community, stop relying solely on the politics, the people in government, the people in power to do anything for you that you can do for yourself in some ways. Help each other. I mean, it may not be where you're passing laws or legislation. Obviously, we don't have the power as just regular citizens, but I'm talking about where you could actually do something for your community as a whole by people. If you're somebody who stands out and you don't want to just do something to help yourself, everybody should step out and see if they can do something for each other as neighbors, as people in a community, wherever you live, and just work on helping each other grow, whatever which way that you can, in whatever direction that you can steer, into making something happen to where it could be beyond any sort of downtrodden depravity of living. And because this society is very cruel, and the fact that we don't have people that really care for us that are in power, they don't really look out for our well-being. It's all about money, interest, etc. So I'm just going to leave it at this, and hope you subscribe. Peace.